Hello and welcome to my final instalment of A Year of Brian Eno. So this is a series where I basically went through and day by day worked my way through this. A year with swollen appendices, which covers a diary that Brian Eno kept in 1995. It was published in 1996, and then there was later another release, if you like, of the book to coincide with a particular anniversary, and that's the ebook version that I have. And yeah, it's half and half, so half of the book is his diary and another half is various essays that are referenced in the diary. So this is my December check-in. So yeah, I'm done with the diary. So in terms of what I'm going to do in 2024, well, I think as I mentioned in my sort of roundup video for the year, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a year of programming in 2024. So each month I'm going to learn a little different programming language or revisit a different programming language, and then do a video each month at the end of the month on what I learned, what I discovered, what resources I uncovered. So it's not based around a specific book. It is sort of based around this website called Exercism, which is a play on the word exercise. And yeah, so keep your eyes open. If you're interested in another year of series, then yeah, it's going to be on programming, specifically programming languages that are used for artificial intelligence purposes. Okay, back to actually the job in hand. So what things came up amongst everything in December in this diary, because there's a lot of stuff he covers that obviously I don't talk about because I don't go through it day by day in terms of this video, although I read it day by day. So you know, I was interested in, after I've read it and then gone back, what really stood out in the diary when I review it again at the end of the month. So let's have a look. Yeah, definitely some references again to this, which I've mentioned in previous episodes. This generative music engine, he's super interested in it, which is no surprise. He's also looking, I think, or was talking about redoing, if that's the right word, but his album Discrete Music, I suppose reimagining it using this software. So that was really interesting. Like I said, a few entries in that. Bosnia comes up quite a bit in December. He's reflecting on everything that's been going on, is currently going on, in terms of trying to resolve everything, I suppose. Also, where is it? There. Yeah, he's also, alongside that, there's some mention of the War Child UK initiative, because there was a lot of things around that happened in 1995. So there's connections between those two things that get mentioned again in December. He also mentions a little bit about James. Now, I haven't really listened to this band that much. I think I've listened to one of their albums, possibly this one. And they've had a number of very well-known hits, one of which is Sit Down. And he started producing them, I believe, for this album, 93, Laid. 94, Wah Wah, he was involved with. And so in 95, we're in this sort of period between Wah Wah and Whiplash, which again he was involved with. So, you know, he's in talks with the band about stuff they're working on. So that slots in nicely, and he just mentions it again. There's a few other artists in there that get a mention as well, which I haven't got specific tags for. But Bjork, he mentions members of U2, Elvis Costello a couple of times, which I mentioned in a previous episode. He also mentions this, which first of all I thought he was talking about a CD, but then when he said he was watching something, yeah, it's a television documentary from November 1995. There was a book released as well. So yeah. And yeah, this is why I thought he was talking about the music. It's a compilation album. But I didn't. It didn't register until I reread that. Yeah, there was a documentary series. Also coincides with Free as a Bird being released as well. He mentions. I'm always on the lookout for gear he's mentioning as well. So he does mention this in passing, which is someone. I think someone brought around. A Waldorf wave to show him. So yeah, that was mentioned. And also he mentions the Digitech Vocalist. He doesn't say it's version 2 of it, but it is January 95, and this was out about then. So it's a vocal harmonizer, pitch correction vocoder. So yeah, Vocalist pitch correction was a thing back in 95. I mean, we've come to, be more acquainted with it now because so many people use it. But yeah, it was a thing back in 95. Not sure how good it was, but yeah. He also mentions the TV programme Have I Got News For You? He's watching an episode of that, I think. Oh no, that's right. It was, I think, an end of year thing. So they'd done an end of years thing. Yeah, so that would have been 95. Started in 1990. I love watching this on, most of these are on YouTube actually, in some capacity. So it's always interesting to see those. And then the very last thing he mentions is there's a sort of off-the-cuff mention about this place. So I'll try not to mangle this. Moruroa, I think that might be, atoll. And in the context of weapons testing. But it's a very brief mention. But it stuck out to me because in terms of nuclear testing, I actually worked with somebody that was based on this island, Kiritimati, which is also known as Christmas Islands. And yeah, he was there when they were doing the nuclear testing. So that would have been sometime in the late 50s, I think. When did they go on to test? 62. Oh, US. So he was there. He worked as a worked on the fire trucks, which were there. Obviously, if there was a problem, but he was saying when the planes that were used for doing sort of measurements of various things, air measurements, when they came back, they used to use the hoses and the setups on the trucks and everything to hose down the planes. So, in essence, there was all this sort of, I suppose, radioactive residue coming off of the planes into the water. So yeah, he And I remember when working with him, he said, yeah, there's a lot of rumour going around that people are getting cancer as a result of exposure to the sort of fallout and various other things and this washing down they were doing. And he was saying, well, you know, he hadn't developed anything. Then I heard years later, after I'd left the firm, that he had actually gone on to develop cancer. And there was some sort of statement issued. I don't know how recently it was. Is it covered here? Where they've effectively been denying, the UK government. This was 2018. They were saying that there's no connection. Apparently, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so. But yeah, I was minded of that when I, it's obviously, this was mentioned in the diary, but then it made me think of the whole sort of Christmas Island testing that went on and all the controversy surrounding that. And then just looking generally at 95 outside of the diary, I noticed that this was released in 95, so the last Godzilla incarnation in the Heisei era of Godzilla. And there was something else here, apart from the reference to Bosnia. Where was it? Maybe I imagined it. Yeah. Okay, I'm probably thinking of something else. I thought there was something else in here I wanted to mention. I jumped up. It must be on another page. Oh, there's a Galileo probe enters Jupiter's atmosphere. That's pretty cool. I was looking quickly through the different video games here, and this bounced out at me. I played this so much. I went out and bought this, Tides of Darkness. I had a copy of the first one, and all three of these, Warcraft, Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, I just played them so much. Loved them. And then obviously things like, I remember playing StarCraft as well. Let's big into that. I noticed Close Shave came out. I should have watched some Wallace and Gromit at Christmas actually. It's not too late though. Final episode of Mr. Bean. Oh, Christmas Day. Premiere of Indecent Proposal. Final episode of Keeping Up Appearances. Wow. Interesting. I looked through the films. I don't really remember ever seeing many of these. The only thing I do remember seeing, although not at the time, was Heat. Previous to this, I had also watched the original, which was LA Takedown. So I was already aware of it. So I did see this first. It's a really good film, actually. Yeah. You should check it out if you've not seen it. In fact, check out both, see what you think. And then December albums released. Things are always a little bit thin on the ground in terms of stuff that comes out in December. Obviously there's a lot of compilations and various artist stuff gets released. I noticed the Greed Killing EP by Napalm Death had come out, but I don't really remember anything specifically from this month in terms of general stuff. And I decided to just go through the Wikipedia top 10 information, #1 singles, because I've been having a lot of trouble with the main, to me that main singles charts, UK singles charts, is getting almost unusable now. There's just so many ads, it's so slow, and it keeps popping up with audio and video and ads that just auto run straight away the moment you open them without being on mute. So yeah, it's a little bit distracting when I try and, you know, sitting here chatting and there's a voice in the background and I can't tell where it's coming from. Nobody likes voices in the background where they can't tell where they're coming from. Yeah, so I was looking at this, and you can see here, in terms of the singles, #1 singles, that was pretty much blocked out by Michael Jackson with the Earth Song. Previous to that, we had I Believe Up on the Roof by Robson and Jerome. And then album-wise, oh, Robson and Jerome, yeah, that was a big Christmas album that year. And I was looking at the top 10 singles generally. I mean, obviously a lot of this stuff like can sometimes roll over from previous months. So, you know, you've got things like Wonderwall, which was November the 11th, and it was on the chart, in the top 10 for 11 weeks. So that must have rolled over into December. Things like Boyzone as well, and It's So Quiet by Bjork would have rolled over into December. But looking at this, there's Miss Sarajevo, which is connected with the Passengers thing, which is also connected with the sort of Bosnia / War Child stuff. So this was I suppose a collaboration between Brian Eno and U2 as a side project, but there were other people involved. This one has Luciano Pavarotti on it. A song 9 weeks in the top 10 in the UK. Disco 2000 got to the top 10 for 1 week. Gold by Prince. Free as a Bird. So this is a Free as a Bird single, which was written as a home demo by John Lennon, and then in '95 the remaining Beatles worked on it and released it. Winter's Tale by Queen. So this was off the back of the posthumous sort of Made in Heaven album. So it contained stuff from the Innuendo sessions, or just after that, and they, basically reworked, built around the stuff that Freddie Mercury had been working on. There's an interesting cover of Wonderwall by Mike Flowers Pops. I remember now at the time this was a bit of a thing, which was these, I'm trying to think even what sort of genre you would call it, but it was like, almost like lounge music, I suppose. Easy listening, that's it, I suppose better. Like easy listening versions of Wonderwall. And then just looking at the albums, looks pretty slim pickings here, because in terms of top 10, these were released in December, or on the charts in December in the top 10. But there's a lot of rollover in the charts, certainly from previous months for the top 10. So you got Something to Remember was on the chart for 12 weeks from November, so that would have still been there. And a number of other the ones you can see had reasonably long runs. Different class. Back here we got, where was it? Yeah, 51 weeks. So that would have still been in the top 10. Yeah, so a good year for music. Anyway, at least through my lens, there was lots of really interesting stuff to listen to. And there we have it. So that's really the end of an era now. So I've got to the end. It's been really fascinating. It's been great revisiting 95 because I had a fantastic year in 95. It was just around the time I was starting or had started. One of the two, either starting or started my postgrad OU studies. I was working at a real great place at the same time, which I was there for around, I think 4 years maybe, Radio Rentals. Yeah, so I just remember a lot of the music, a lot of my friends from back then. Yeah. So thanks once again for watching. Bye for now. And, well, hopefully I'll catch you in next year's A Year Of, at least if you're interested in programming. So bye for now.